Shalom.
First off, I want to start off with saying all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. That's all praises to the one called God, whose true name in the Hebrews, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, in the name of Yahushai, being the name of the only begotten Son. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, peace and mercy to the hopeful like Christians, bringing truth and sincerity. We're the brothers of the Great Millstone, Arizona camp with another week to edify Lord will. And the prophetic view on earth ain't changed, man. It's just intensifying. They even put out an article recently where they're saying the earth is actually spinning faster now. That's another one that came out. So the Lord is speeding up these times, and with the times being sped up, war between these nations, the tensions are high. And like I think that's in Proverbs where it says the Lord turned the king's heart. Yeah, I think it's 21st chapter. It's Proverbs like 21 and 5 or something like that, if you can grab that. And right now that's what you're seeing is that the control of these nations, whether or not they want to fight or not, they're being drawn into that battle because it's prophecy. And that's the most important thing at the end of the day. All this stuff, like I saw a video where Bishop Nate was talking to some dude, and he was basically saying, the dude said, you guys are known for, talking about marriages and going into the law. And that's what we stopped it at. So marriage is in the law. That's what you get from IUIC. But you get prophecy from Great Millstone. That's what it says in First Corinthians, I think it is. But rather that you prophesy. That's the most important thing in these times. You got that one?
Yeah. This is Proverbs 21 and 1. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whatsoever he will.
The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. And he's turning these nations wherever he will, man. The Lord's got the reins. Right? Like they got that stupid ass song, Jesus take the will. Well, Yahushai's got the will. Of all these kings and the minds of the kings. And he's turning them, everybody, to a position where they got to go to war. This is why no matter, if they're not fighting against Esau, they're fighting against other heathen. That's Matthew 24 and 6. Robert the show.
Matthew 4 verse 6. And it reads, Matthew 24 verse 6, and it reads, and you hear, in fact, I'll start at verse, I'll start at verse 6 for your point. And you hear wars, rumors of wars, see that you not be troubled, for all these things will come to pass, but the end is not yet.
You see, the wars and rumors of wars are already here. They're already talking about sending the 82nd Airborne Regiment into Iran, and that's the paratroopers that dropped down first to get the battle popping. The same people they sent in the war for Iraq. And Iraq just sat there and said that they're officially going to be joining forces with Iran. So that's the dragons of Arabia conspiring together, gathering together. The Lord is moving all these pieces, man. Is there more on that?
Yes, this one, more quick. Verse 7, for nation raising a nation, kingdom against kingdom, be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in various places. All these are beginning of sorrows. And I think I'll even go first real quick. They shall deliver you to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Yep, and that's what America is. They're hated of all nations. Everybody's pointing out the hypocrisy of how they do business. You just had Japan. Japan after Trump asshole. He said. Somebody asked him why he was right there by the Japanese Prime Minister. He said, why didn't you talk to any of your allies before you did the strikes on Iran? He said, well, we wanted the element of surprise. If anybody knows about surprise, Japan does. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? He said that shit. Bro, that shit was funny as hell, man. But then the next day, the Prime Minister, and it's a female of Japan, turned around and agreed to buy oil in the Chinese yuan. And Japan is one of the biggest buyers of American debt. So if Japan is leaving the American dollar, that's it. That's one of the hugest buyers. So imagine what the sell-off of those that U.S. debt is going to look like when they start doing it. They probably got backdoor deals and telling them, okay, hold on to these dollars for this amount of time. We're going to give you a strategic timeline where you need to sell that shit off for you to get this deal where you can buy our oil. It's all type of shit. There's so much stuff going on, man. Go
That's,
ahead.
that's part of why the scripture said, "Let the weak sound strong," because here it is. You know, they're talking mostly against the one that was a powerhouse for so long, but it's all prophecy. Because when you go into the scriptures and you read about the virgin daughter of Babylon, you understand that it has a decline. It had a up. It went up. It had this climax, and now it's going down. You know what I'm saying? The 50 year mark is on July 4th.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just after that, you can see this the decrease in the place. Decrease in this place. I read a title of an article a couple days ago, and it said people are leaving America at alarming rates, going to different countries. You know what I mean? And it just goes to show you, like, these gun-ho American people that were so for America, you know, here it is, shit just got a little bad. It ain't even bad yet, but it got a little bad and motherfuckers already jumping shit. So what do you do? What you think is gonna happen when it get worse? What you think is gonna happen? Gas gets to $10, $9, $10, then what? It's $8 some places. You know what I'm saying? So people complaining about, you know, when an everyday person is complaining about the gas and all that, it's getting bad, man. You know what I mean? But it just goes to show you, like, this place that you guys trust in is now coming to naught, and it's going to decline. It continue to decline, but it has to, in order for really the earth to be at rest, because this place has been a hammer of the whole earth, right? And what you don't understand is, well, the people that run this place has been a hammer of the whole earth. So now it's just time for rulership to change, because now we need a righteousness in place. The earth is too out of whack, man. Everything is out of whack. Everything is out of course. You know, I saw telling the brother, even with our people, 2/3 of our people, telling the brother yesterday on the phone, you know, when I was in Houston, and if you ever been to Houston, there's a lot of Judah there. And you had you know, an older Judite woman, you know, using the scriptures to motivate these young little Judite women to act lewdly and to be whores. And when you look at that city, I mean, you have 40,000 STD cases in a week, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was a week. But I know the number is 40,000, and it's rising and rising and rising, man. You know what I mean? So it just goes to show you, like, but who influenced that? America. Look at the music that's pushed. You know, look at the movies that's pushed. Look at the propaganda. Look at the setup. You know, to where it's like now. You know, I was telling Javon too. I'm like, you know, back then at least, like how we grew up, it was some type of shame. You know what I mean? It was some type of, even though they still was doing shit, it wasn't open. I mean, when I went to the rodeo, they had to put a dress code at the rodeo because women were showing up damn near naked with boots on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So with kids around, you know, children around and shit like that. So it just goes to show you, like, we need a change, man, and the change is coming.
Right. That's why Scripture says, "Sit down the dust of virgin daughter of Babylon." You know, because that once that greatness that it once held, the Lord's basically taking that down, man. You know, you're seeing the economic collapse of America. You're seeing the moral collapse of America. You're seeing America getting prepared for judgment by the Lord.
That's right.
This is 2 Ezra 16:2. It says, "Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand." See that? So this place is being set up for destruction. You know, this place is being set up to be hated. You know, so it says that all the blessed nations are going to hate the whore. So this place is being set up by the Heavenly Father, you know, to be taken down, to lose. You know, they're not winning over there, overseas. There was an article that said that Trump was he said something where he showed fear, like he's scared now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You don't know how to answer the question.
Right.
Because he knows damn well that the war is not in control like he thought it would be.
Yeah, something to the effect, we didn't think Iran was going to fight back. It said a sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood? May one quench the fire in the stubble when it has begun to burn? Who started that fire, man? You know, America did. They went throughout the whole earth and engaged and provoked these other countries, you know, to escalate things, man.
Yeah.
Ultimately, we know the Heavenly Father, like the brother about the scripture, you know, the king's heart, you know, that's in the hand of the Lord turns to what's the will. But this is what you're seeing. It says, "May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer. The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that quench it? He shall cast lightnings, who shall not fear? He shall thunder, who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, who shall not be utterly beaten to the powder at his presence? The earth quaketh, and the foundation dwells, the sea rise up the waves, and from the deep the waves are troubled, the fishes are also, but the Lord, before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. I'm gonna jump down to 14. Behold, the plagues are sent, shall not return again until they come upon the earth, and fire is kindled, shall not be put out, and consume the foundation of the earth. I'll jump to verse 18. The beginning of sorrows to great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of war. See that? You're seeing the beginning of wars, which ultimately is going to lead to World War III. And the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when the evil shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation, anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn away from the wickedness, but always be mindful of the scourges, because even with America declining, they still have this powerful stance towards the rest of the world.
Yep.
The scripture said, the book of Obadiah, the pride of the heart is deceived thee. So basically the Lord setting them up for ultimate favor, man.
But a whore has to forcibly be humble.
Yes.
A whore is not just humbled over rape. It's rare you see that. Right? America is that whore that just think that, going around and thinking that she's going to be untouched or unpunished for the wickedness that she does and spreads throughout the earth. But scriptures say for in 1 hour there's nothing to perceive but dust and the smell of the smoke. Right? It said what? I was seeing no widows and thought that you were not going to have any hardship. You know what I mean? And now you have Iran, which was looked at as a weak nation compared to the big powerhouses, boasting against you. So, and then you mentioned peace treaties and this and that and trying to negotiate, but that even make you look weak because it's like you're negotiating with Iran. You know what I'm saying? Y'all said that Iran was weak. Y'all said, no, they're not, man. They've been had a plan. You got to think. Iran has been looking at America, and America been looking at Iran like the enemy for a long time. So they've been preparing, and this is a nation that's not new to war. When you read in the scriptures, those Persians, those they're it's a war like people, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they fight for a different cause. See, America is new. This place been around, man. This place been around. America is new, man.
Right.
So this goes to show you, like, the only reason why America was so strong in the powerhouse is because the Lord wanted it to be. But now the Lord don't want it to be anymore because it's decreasing. Because again, what has to happen? Righteousness has to be put back in the earth and rule in the earth in order for things to be afloat. In order for things to go back to how they're originally supposed to be. Because people are suffering, the world is suffering, the animals are suffering, trees, nature is suffering, everything is suffering, everything is on a decline. Shit not even as beautiful as it once was. A walk in the park now is like, it ain't the same as it was when he was little, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a lot of shit, a lot of pollution. A lot of lewdness, a lot of just, it's hard to find peace, in a place so chaotic. You know what I mean? And this place has to be put down, and it's gonna get put down, man.
Also, kind of saying what they're saying too, because honestly, the other countries, they try to say, "Oh, America, how great it is," but I was like, man, we've been here longer than the United States. We've been here longer than America's been around. China's been around for about 6,000 years. They've been up here for every millennium. Same are around. So it's Obadiah 1, I'm sorry, verse 1 real quick. It says, I'm sorry, just start with 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus say the Most High, concerning Edom. You have heard a rumor from the Most High, and ambassadors said among the heathen, arise ye, and let us rise against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised, and thou art greatly despised. This whole thing of Israel, man, every other country is really showing, man, this America really ain't shit. America is the bad guy. If even he's not an idea, he's truly the devil of the whole world.
Yeah, the face of the covering crowns is being removed. The son of perdition has been revealed. All the way down to the satanic worship and all that, it's over.
Yeah, anymore. I'll start with you. I'll stop that. Verse 3. To the time thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest custom rocks, with habitation it up to his highest point where he knows can beat him and bring him straight down. Like it's easy as nothing. Because truly, if you really look at it, in the worldly sense, that America cannot last much longer. As a nation, it cannot last. Even the Lord didn't intervene. That's what Most High has to intervene because honestly, with no flesh be saved, it could run the whole cycle.
Yeah, you got Nate talking about America has Samson Samson effect or something like that too, where it's like if anything happens, America would nuke itself and nuke everybody else. Well, where is that at in the scriptures? You know what I'm saying? Where is that at? You know, where's it says America's going to get nuked, not that America was going to nuke America. You know what I'm saying? So you got people like that, you know, adding to, you know, and really you want your audience to be comfort. You want, but you still want to like act like you know, you want to keep them, you want to dangle a carrot in front of them, but keep them entertained by mentioning certain things or spinning prophecy or trying to spin prophecy.
So it says his conscience is eating his ass up. That's what he did. That's what he did. Like even what's in his conscience ate his ass up. Judas. His conscience ate him up after he sold out the Lord. He said, "Fuck man, this price of blood." He was an honest man. Started reasoning with himself, tried to get the money back. Well, this nigga Nate sees that all the prophecies are coming to pass, and that great millstone has been right, and that he knows that he ain't prepared his congregation, so he tries to touch on these things. But if he goes too far, everybody's gonna be like, "Well, that's what Jesus was teaching."
Yeah.
This is, bro, that wicked pride. Like the scriptures tell you, man. If you don't get a warning, that blood's gonna be on you. That shit's probably getting in his head now, man. Like this is the worst time to be playing games, man. Because everything that was written is starting to come to pass, man. I got this precept. The brother already read Obadiah. You get it. This is Ezekiel 32 and 2. It says, "Son of man, take up a lamentation for Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and say unto him, Thou art like the lion of the nations, and thou art as a well in the sea." And that's what America's been, the lion of the nations. Like he's been able to go in, roar, do all type of stuff. When you go to a well, it was one of the biggest animals in the sea. He controls traffic type shit, right? And thou art as a well in the sea. Thou camest forth with thy rivers, thou troublest the waters with thy feet, and thou foulest their rivers, man. So he came forth and he shuffled up the entire game. When you go into the rivers and the water, it's the flow of traffic, the flow of goods. He changed the whole game, man. It says, "Thus said Yahweh power, I will therefore spread out my net over thee with thy company of many people, and they shall bring thee up in my net." And that's what you're seeing. The Lord is spreading the net, and this devil's being trapped on every fucking side. Because whether or not they withdraw or they stay, they're losing. If they stay, they lose. If they withdraw, it's a significant loss. That they just started this, they lost to cheap ass drones, to a nation that they said wasn't prepared for a battle, and they did it on the world stage. Right after bombing Gaza, the smithereens, and then when they got Iran, they got hemmed up. That's terrible, terrible for a nation, man. The scriptures tell you if somebody doesn't sit down and count the costs, whether they're not able to go against 10,000 with 5,000. Right? That's what this devil did. He didn't really count the cost of the battle. He just leaned on what he's been done in the past. Well, I've been able to do this. Well, that's what the scripture talks about. It says, "Then I will leave thee upon the land. I will cast thee forth upon the open field, and I will cause all the fowls of heaven to remain upon thee, and I will fill the beasts of the whole earth with thee." Meaning what? The Lord is going to kill a lot of you niggas over there. All them 3,000 soldiers that they just sent over there, they gonna be coming back in 3,000 coffins, or maybe not even coffins. Some of them coffins just might come back empty. If you can say anything while I'm reading it, if you want. It says verse 5. It says, "And I will lay thy flesh upon the mountains, just as been done over there. And when they do that withdrawal, what does the scripture say? When he sees the spoil, he shall be spoiled.
Those cheap ass drones, bro. You know, those Tomahawk missiles, they cost about $1 million, $2 million each.
Mm-hmm.
Because real quick from business that are, so the U.S. Navy warship fired Tomahawk missiles in their attack on Iran on Saturday. During the war of a limited supply that America forced them might need in a conflict in the well-armed adversary like China. So they're better to fight Iran and China, but they can't even face Iran with I think the 200 to 400,000 that they spent against the millions, probably billions of money that the U.S. been trying to bomb the place. Yeah, they still can't do it.
They already said that the Indonesians can't keep up with the tempo of battle, so to speak. I mean, they don't got enough missiles to properly fight this war, you know. And then now Trump's saying that first he said there's not going to be no troops on the ground, and now he's saying, well, we may have to send troops on the ground. What's that? What is that? Say soldiers will die on the mines, something like that.
Yeah. They said many American heroes will die.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, something like that.
Boy, that was Farquaad shit.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that shit?
Yeah.
That's a risk I'm willing to take.
Yeah. So you see Lord Farquaad.
And then there's another article which says that he doesn't care about the price of gas. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if the price of gas rises, so what?
It's only affecting the consumer. That's what he said.
Yeah.
It's only affecting the consumer, so that's the least of my worries. Well, the consumer is 60% of the economy.
Right.
That's 60%. You're gonna just push aside 60% of the money that flows.
Right.
And that makes no sense. Because they're really getting ready to collapse this current system and bring in another. The war is just a front to help speed that along.
Yeah, then there's an article that said the largest oil refinery was on kind of fire.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically oil with the bloodline of America. The bloodline of America's economy.
That's one of the things that make the dollar so strong. Because they were trading. You got a thing called the petrodollar. They were trading, buying oil using American money. You know, that was what America was making that. You know, forcing people to do that. When you do that, it makes sure your dollar a lot powerful. You know, and that's why it's even funny with China doing a power play like, well, shit, yeah. You know, y'all gotta use the Chinese yen if y'all want to buy.
Right.
Like they'll open the Strait of Hormuz if y'all buy the oil using Chinese yen. So this is like a power play slapping the
Yeah,
face.
there's another article that I read that said they're charging $2 million of chip gas to the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, for the countries that they allow to. You know, I think China's number 1, Mexico's number 2, something to that effect. But they're gonna charge $2 million for each boat, for each vessel. You know, so you're seeing that, man. You're seeing the scripture says that the orcas are being fired on the earth, but what efforts are being kindled? You're seeing that fire being kindled upon the earth, man. That's going to precede the coming of the Lord. And so all these prophecies, they line up, you know, ultimately to the coming of the Lord, man. Like the brother said, we need salvation, though. You know, the elect and the 1/3 are going to receive salvation. You know, 2/3 of our people, they're going to be destroyed.
Yeah, that crude oil is important. Yeah, you make a lot of shit with that crude oil. And it's the cheapest way to make gasoline.
Right.
So what happens is if you could continue to have your hands on crude oil, then everything could be cheap. You could get shit pennies on a dollar.
Yeah.
Therefore, you could price gas at $3, $2, whatever it was going for when it was cheap. But now, you know, with the cutting off of, because you know America doesn't get all of its oil from the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not one of the main countries that get it, but it's either got the sources. But nonetheless, that was one of the sources.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you cut that down, now it's like you gotta tap into other shit. But really, it's just like that oil is like gold. That shit black gold, man. You know, whoever could do the most business with it is the richest country. You know what I mean? Or you have a lot of power. I gotta say so. You know, so the motherfuckers cutting off oil was like them cutting off the bloodline to America.
And ultimately, that's designed to destroy the U.S. economy, to bring forth that universal basic income, RFID chip. It's all leading up to that, man.
Right.
You know, it's all leading up to the fulfillment of prophecy. This is the will of the Lord. You know, this is the will of the Lord. The Lord's working on the left-hand side with Esau, the other nations, to bring about his prophecies.
Yeah, and ultimately, these elites, higher ups, they want war. They don't participate in war physically. They use war for other things like sacrifices.
Yeah.
Like they have gods that they worship, man.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That they don't tell everyday people about. You know what I mean? They work with certain demons on the left hand side, but they don't understand that the Father, the Most High, is the Father of spirits.
Right.
That means spirits on the right hand side and spirits on the left hand side.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, you're under subject of what the Lord wants you to do, regardless. And these heathen or these elites that think they have power, you don't have power. The only power you guys what the Lord allow you to do. But you're gonna come to find out quickly that you have no power. Just like Nebuchadnezzar came to the realization quick, or he can't after the Lord damn near turned into a beast, man. You know what I mean? It was another king that who was the king that had the stinky, his body was like rotten inside out. He
Not
tried.
Titus. It's in Second Maccabees.
Yeah, you know what I mean. His own soldiers couldn't. Bros could.
Which I think he's Trump as well, man, because that's a 218. That's a 218-year gap between that and Nero.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
it could be him and the reincarnation. Trump's having that same problem now.
Yeah, he has those health issues
Mm-hmm.
that
Where they're saying that people smell him all the time.
It's crazy, right? So that's a good point, good thing. Interesting. But yeah, man, it's going to show you like, hey, that's why it says what it says in Isaiah 30 and 1, Isaiah 31, you know, in various scriptures throughout the various verses throughout the scriptures, you know, about, you know, you trusting in the shadow of Egypt because you thought you're looking at the strength that you think you have, but all this shit is just an illusion. Shit is not for your safety. This shit is not for your turn.
Yeah.
You know, when them demons get to telling them to do certain shit, man, come on, man. They ain't give a fuck about people dying over there.
Right.
You know what I mean? They getting whatever benefit they thinking they gonna get whatever benefit. The more bodies rack up, man.
Yeah, the scripture say the rich despise the poor. That's in the book of Sirach, man. So the rich are set against the poor, man. So when they talk about sending sons and daughters to war, they're not talking about their sons and daughters.
Right.
Somehow this nigga Trump's kid, I think they say he's 6'5" or something like that.
They're huge.
He's 6'5". You know that was a test tube baby.
Yeah.
You know that was a lab engineered motherfucker. That nigga had the money to do it.
He a demon over.
Yeah.
You could like that motherfucker is like you can look. Have you paid attention to him? That nigga.
6'9".
He's 6'9".
He's a giant.
Baron Trump 6'9". That's a tall
6'9", healthy, but somehow he can't go to the war.
Yeah.
They already wrote it up that he's not fit for a draft. They already wrote that shit up.
Yeah, he got a certificate, huh?
Yeah.
They
So these devils, man, when they talk about wars and people dying and being heroes, it's not about their kids. It's not about their kids. It's about yours, man. You don't, man. They ain't sacrificing their own.
Yeah.
Not yet. They probably gonna do that when shit gets fucking drastic, but they're literally just setting up a whole new order because really oil replaced silver and gold.
Yep.
That's really what it was. Oil replaced silver and gold. After they got rid of the gold standard, then fractional reserve making came along, and the petrodollar came along right after it. So oil replaced gold. So now that they're killing all the places where oil can be produced, they even there was a fire for the biggest oil refinery in Texas. I think it was what is that cheap gas station? Arco. That's the biggest oil refinery in America, and that shit just went up in flames. So now you're hitting all these oil places around the globe, changing the currency. Because if nobody can get that oil for an extended period of time, then that means they're getting rid of that current currency system and bringing something else in.
Right.
Like it's the same thing as always. Every single time they change the currency, the war popped up. We're in the time where they're changing the currency, so the war is popping up. This shit is almost over, man. Passover is in what, a week?
Yep.
Passover is in 1 week, and at that point, man, we don't know what happens.
Right.
But we know that things have been moving along, so obviously it can't just continue to move along. And we're almost out of here, man.
Mhm.
Everybody knows about the Israelites.
Right.
Everybody knows that World War III is here. Now niggas is sitting there turning to that Professor Jin Yu, the predictive history dude, which is good videos.
Yeah.
I personally think that nigga is Balaam in the scripture. I think he's Moab.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He going in all this stuff. He don't really know the scriptures.
Because Balaam see, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Because Balaam, he was smart enough to know, like, because what he was doing was very strategic. Against, like, you know, when you read the story of Balaam and Balak, like, he was no dummy. And then he even gave, like, when you go to Numbers 24, he told Balak, he was like, look, man, you know, you don't understand why I got you doing this, but when Lord come back, you know, basically we gonna be in captivity, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, it goes just, so he was doing things or trying to do things to curse Israel at the time. But, you know, for him to be even tapped in like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, he to be tapped in like that to try to do the evil shit that he was doing, it makes sense. You know?
Yeah, I think that nigga is Balaam, bro. It's crazy how the Lord just bring all the players back. You know what I mean? Like, at some point, he gonna start talking about the Israelites. Watch.
Yeah.
At some point, like, he probably already studied the videos and coming to a realization, maybe these are not that nigga talking. Maybe these are
What's his name again?
Professor Gene Jinping or something like that. It's a predictive history though. That's his channel.
Yeah.
But they're trying to say this nigga's a prophet. Which Balaam was a wicked prophet. I mean, he was just a heathen prophet, but
He's an analyst.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So, but people are seeing these things and they know that, like, everybody's considered. Israelites are the so-called Negro suspects of Native Americans. That's why there's so many more videos coming out. People are starting to consider, like, yeah, you know, prophecies are really coming to pass. People are really trying to get into scriptures.
Right. Yeah, scripture said in the day of that power that people would be willing.
Mm-hmm.
The more devastating it get for America, the more the true biblical Israelites are gonna shine. That's the only way out.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only way out. Like, ain't no other alternative. It's not a bunker you can buy, ain't enough money you can stack up. There's not, you have to be really a part of that cluster that the Lord wants, and those happen to be the true biblical Israelites, with so-called black man, Native American man,
Right.
Latino man and woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So now everybody, the more devastated it get, because on top of that, who's telling the truth? We are. You know what I'm saying? And when you go into our videos, we're breaking things more crisp, breaking things down more crisp than he is, than the Moabite dude is. He's going into war and he professor and shit like that, but we going into what's going to happen and what you possibly can do to be saved. And not only that, we're trying to be the best example we can be. You know what I mean? So it was like, you know, he not even in the game. You don't qualify. He's not an Israelite. You know what I mean? So he could tell you, oh, well, Iran might do this and that, and this is going to, but he can't tell you what's going to happen after that. He can't tell you what's going to happen after this modern day Babylon is obliterated. He can't, but we can tell you using the scriptures. You know?
I'm going to finish this up. So Ezekiel 32 and 5. It says up, yeah, he's on. See, I told you, he plays reference one right there. It says, and I will lay thy flesh upon the mountains, and fill the valleys with thy height. I will also water with thy blood the land wherein thou swimmest, even to the mountains, and the rivers shall be full of thee. And when I shall put thee out, I will cover the heaven, and make the stars thereof dark. You know what? That mushroom cloud. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light. All the bright lights of heaven will I make dark over thee, and set darkness upon thy land, say Yahweh power. I will also vex the heart of many people. It says, when I shall bring thy destruction among the nations. Why? Because they're going to see that this place is destroyed, and this is where they made all their money. That's why they're going to be vexed. It says that in Revelation. Who was like great Babylon, who made all the nations of the kingdom rich. Right? It says, into the countries which thou hast known, yeah, I will make many people amazed at thee, and their king shall be horribly afraid for thee, when I shall brandish at every moment every man for his own life. So like, when I shall brandish my sword before them, and they shall tremble at every moment, every man for his own life in the day of thy fall. You see, when America gets taken out, the world is going to be terrified. Because first of all, you got 200 million missiles going off. The earth's reeling to and fro. People know where those missiles are going to be going. And they're just going to hope nothing's coming back towards them. It's like, this place is about to get taken out, man. Bro's got any precepts? The Lord willing, this is edifying. You're going to say, call law. Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh,